Welcome back to the Declassified Food channel. Today, we are talking about your best friend, your roommate who doesn't pay rent, the only person in your house who is actually happy to see you when you come home from school. I'm talking about your dog. Now, if you love your dog, you probably spend a lot of time thinking about what makes them happy. You buy them squeaky toys that they destroy in 4 seconds, you give them belly rubs until your hand cramps up, and you let them sleep on your bed even though they definitely have outside feet. But there is one thing we all do every single day that might actually be the most important part of their lives, and honestly, we've kind of been doing it wrong. I'm talking about the brown crunchies, the kibble, the dry, pebble-looking stuff that lives in a giant bag in the laundry room. Today I'm going to convince you why homemade dog food beats kibble every single time, and why your dog is probably secretly wishing they could write a Yelp review about their current dinner situation. Let's start with the most obvious thing. Look at kibble, just look at it. If you took a bowl of cereal and left it out in the sun for 3 years until it turned into a rock, it would probably look exactly like dog kibble. Have you ever wondered how they get meat, vegetables, and grains to turn into perfectly shaped little brown triangles that stay fresh in a bag for 6 months? It's not magic, guys. It's industrial processing. To make kibble, companies use a process called extrusion. This basically means they take a bunch of ingredients, mash them into a paste, and then blast them with extreme heat and pressure until all the moisture is gone. Imagine if someone took a delicious steak, a baked potato, and some fresh broccoli, threw them in a giant industrial dryer, and handed you a handful of brown dust. You'd probably call the police, but for some reason, we think it's totally normal to feed this to our dogs every day of their lives. Now let's talk about what is actually inside those brown pebbles. Because kibble has to be cheap and last forever, companies often use meat meals instead of actual meat. Meat meal is just a fancy way of saying the leftovers that nobody else wanted. We're talking about the parts of the animal that don't make it into your burger or even into a hot dog. It's processed at such high temperatures that most of the actual nutrition is destroyed. By the time it gets to your dog's bowl, the company has to spray synthetic supplements and flavor enhancers back onto the outside of the kibble just to make it edible. It's like eating a cardboard box that has been sprayed with the smell of a cheeseburger. Your dog isn't eating a steak. They are eating a very convincing lie. When you switch to homemade dog food, you are in charge of the crime scene investigation. You know exactly what is going into that bowl. If you put chicken in there, it's actually chicken. If you put carrots in there, they're actually orange and crunchy, not some weird powder that was made in a factory 3 states away. Homemade food is filled with something called moisture. I know, crazy concept, right? Water. Kibble is incredibly dry. It's basically a desert in a bowl. Dogs who eat only kibble are often in a constant state of mild dehydration. Their bodies have to work overtime just to digest the dry rocks. When you give them fresh food, you're helping their kidneys, their liver, and their digestion. It's like the difference between eating a fresh, juicy apple and eating a handful of wood shavings. One makes you feel like a superhero, and the other makes you want to take a 3-hour nap. Speaking of naps, let's talk about energy. Have you ever had a food coma after eating a bunch of processed junk food? You know the feeling. You eat a huge bag of chips and a soda, and 20 minutes later you feel like your brain is made of wet bread. Well, dogs get that too. Kibble is often packed with fillers like corn, soy, and wheat because they are cheap. These are high-carb ingredients that give your dog a quick spike of energy followed by a massive crash. If your dog spends 23 hours a day sleeping and only wakes up to bark at the mailman, it might not just be because they're lazy, it might be because their food is weighing them down. When you switch to high-quality homemade protein and real veggies, you'll see their personality change. They get that puppy energy back, even if they're older. It's like they finally upgraded from a dial-up internet connection to high-speed fiber. Let's be real for a second. Homemade dog food also helps with the stink factor. We all love our dogs, but we don't always love the smells they produce. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The dog breath that could knock out a rhino. The gas that clears a room faster than a fire drill. Most of those smells come from poor digestion and low-quality ingredients fermenting in their gut. When a dog eats real, clean food, their body actually uses it. There's less waste, which means, and I'm trying to be polite here, their backyard presents are smaller, firmer, and way less gross to pick up. If that's not a reason to switch to homemade food, I don't know what is. You're literally saving your nose and your lawn at the same time. I know what some of you are thinking, but I don't have time to be a private chef for my dog. I have homework, I have sports, and I barely have time to make my own toast. Trust me, I get it. But making homemade dog food doesn't mean you're standing over a stove with a tall chef hat on. You can make a giant batch once a week in a slow cooker or a big pot and freeze it. It's basically meal prepping for your pup. You throw in some ground turkey, some brown rice, some spinach, and maybe some blueberries, and boom, you're the Gordon Ramsay of the dog world. Your dog will be sitting in the kitchen staring at the fridge like it's a portal to heaven, and let's talk about the tail wag factor. This is the scientific measurement of how much your dog loves you. When you pull out that giant paper bag of kibble, your dog probably walks over, sighs, and eats because they have to. It's a job for them. But when you start pulling out real containers of chicken and sweet potatoes, the tail starts going. The tippy taps on the kitchen floor start happening. They look at you like you just gave them the winning lottery numbers. Food is one of the only things dogs have to look forward to in their day. Imagine if you were told you had to eat the exact same dry crackers for every single meal for the rest of your life. You'd be miserable. Giving your dog fresh, homemade food is the ultimate way to say, I love you, in a way they actually understand. Now, before you go sprinting to the kitchen to dump your leftover pepperoni pizza and spicy wings into a bowl, I have to give you a quick but super important warning. Don't just toss your human table scraps together and call it balanced dog food. As much as your dog wants to eat like a teenager on summer break, they actually have very specific biological needs that we have to respect. There are some everyday human foods that are basically poison for dogs. We're talking about things like onions, garlic, grapes, raisins, and way too much salt or sugar. You definitely have to do a little bit of homework and research to make sure you're getting the right balance of protein, healthy fats, and dog-safe veggies in there. But honestly, I promise you, it's not rocket science. You don't need a PhD in nutrition, you just need to stick to real, whole foods. Once you make the switch and start seeing the results, you won't believe your eyes. Their coat will start to look like it belongs in a shampoo commercial, because it gets so much shinier and softer to the touch. Plus, you'll notice they have way more focus during training sessions and much better moods overall. Once you see that transformation, the idea of going back to those hard, mystery-filled brown rocks will seem totally crazy. You're literally giving them the gift of a longer life, way better health, and a much happier, calmer stomach. So the next time you're walking down that giant, depressing aisle at the grocery store and you see those massive bags of kibble featuring pictures of perfectly groomed, happy, athletic dogs running through a field of flowers, I want you to remember the truth. Those dogs in the pictures, let's be real, they probably aren't actually eating the dry, dusty stuff inside that bag for their main meals. They're professional models. They're probably in the dressing room eating grilled chicken and premium steak while they wait for their next photo shoot. Your dog is a superstar in your heart, so why shouldn't they get to eat like one too? It's time to stop settling for processed industrial pebbles and start providing some real, home-cooked goodness that actually nourishes their bodies. Your dog might not be able to sit you down and thank you in actual words, but they will definitely show their gratitude in other ways. You'll get extra long morning licks, way more zoomies in the backyard because they have actual energy, and let's not forget the best part. A lot fewer stinky and awkward situations in the living room while you're trying to watch a movie. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me today, guys. If you want me to share some of my favorite, super easy dog food recipes that won't blow up your kitchen or take 5 hours to cook, let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more tips on how to keep your pets and yourself living your absolute best, healthiest lives. Take care of your pups, give them a high five for me, and I'll see you in the next one.